welcome back to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin, and today I am headed to the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival for the first time. I am super excited to be going. I have kind of a wish list of some items I'm looking for, but the main goals of today are some shopping time, some time to sit and stitch, maybe make some new crafty friends, and I'm also participating in the crochet relay race, which means that I'll be walking and crocheting at the same time to hopefully win some prizes. We'll see. I'm not sure how much footage I'll be able to get of the relay race because I would need someone to hold the camera for me, but we're just going to do our best today to vlog. So I am heading out. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I have one friend to pick up first, and then we are headed to the Sheep and Wool Festival. Right when we got to Sheep and Wool, we started by just kind of doing a lap around the barns to get the lay of the land, and then we went right in to pet some sheep. So this is where I have the most footage because sheep don't care if they're face-to-face with a video camera or not. We got to pet lots of the sheep. This is my friend petting one of the sheep that was there. They were very sweet. We saw a lot of variety of sheep as well. I don't really know that much about sheep breeds, but just looking at the different wool they had, there was clearly quite a variety there, and all of them were very fun to watch and look at and pet. After that, I did some shopping, and I was trying to show you my haul in this little bag right here. But it was really bright out, so I was having trouble seeing my camera screen, so if it's a little shaky and unclear, that's why. And then we stuck around for some outdoor crafting time. After we crafted for a while, we went to the silent auction to place bids on a few items, and I actually went home with one of my bids, which was very, very exciting. After we did the silent auction, we headed over to the track for the crochet and knit relay race, and once we got all set up, we got to start doing the race. So I kind of lucked out with the clips I got of the relay race itself because I was able to set my camera up on my chair and just get these clips. I was also walking far enough away from everyone that it looks like it's just me, but there were definitely other contestants as well. Hello everyone, it is the next day after Sheep and Wool, and I wanted to hop on and give some more detailed descriptions of everything that went on throughout the day and also show you my haul from all the stuff that I bought and or acquired during the festival. So I know I'm planning on doing a voiceover over the clips that I took from the festival itself, but I don't know how much room I'm going to have to squeeze in details, so I'm sorry if there's like a repeat in this section of something I already said. I just wanted to make sure that I gave you a detailed description of everything that went on because there were definitely spots where I didn't feel comfortable pulling the camera out just because there were a lot of people and it was fairly closely packed in some of the spaces, and I didn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable by having a camera really close to them. So there's a lot of other footage I would have liked to get to show you, but I wanted to keep other people's space a higher priority than me getting my clips that I wanted. So apologies if there's not a lot of footage. I do know I got lots of clips of sheep, so you saw plenty of sheep. And also stay tuned to the end of this video for my absolutely favorite clip that I acquired of sheep. But I'm going to save that for the end because it was pretty funny. So anyway, to kind of recap the day, we got to the festival around 10. We did a quick loop through the vendor barns first just to kind of get the lay of the land and start kind of mentally picking out what things we wanted to come back to. And when I say we, I did travel with a friend to Sheep and Wool. I'm actually going to link her Instagram down below so you can go check her out. She also does amazing crafty stuff. And I met her through one of my crafting groups, so you'll actually, I think you see her hand in one of the sheep videos that I took. But yeah, definitely check her out down below. So we got there and did a lap through both of the vendor barns just to kind of see what vendors were there. see kind of what items we were interested in. I came in with a list of stuff that I was planning to purchase, and I knew that multiple vendors would probably have some of the same types of items, so I wanted to like kind of check everything out first and like see where I wanted to get certain items from. This will make more sense in a minute. After that, we went to Pet Some Sheep, which is where we got all of the sheep videos. Sheep don't care if they have a camera on them, so they were much easier to film than being around people. After the sheep, we went to the silent auction barn and did our first couple of bids on silent auction just to like kind of see what was there. I think originally when I went through, I put bids on 2 items, and neither of those I ended up getting at the end of the day. But we ended up coming back and I saw different items, but I'll come back to that. After that, I grabbed some lunch, and then we sat with a group of, I think they were mostly knitters, who were sitting outside under some shade and just stitching and talking. So we sat there for actually quite a while. During that time, we took turns going back through the vendor barns to get what we wanted, and that's where I did my shopping. So my wish list for Sheep and Wool was to get a drop spindle because I acquired some roving wool, I believe fall of last year, and didn't have a way to spin it, so I wanted to make sure. I can't remember if it was fall of last year or spring of this year. Maybe it was spring this year. That would make more sense. Anyway, I acquired roving a while ago and knew I wanted to invest in a drop spindle so that I could turn that roving into actual yarn. So a drop spindle was probably my most important item that I was looking for. The second thing I was looking for, I'm actually going to ask if there are any family members watching. Please click off of this video. Don't listen to the rest of this. There's going to be some spoilers. But my family plays Dungeons and Dragons together, and I wanted to knit some dice bags for them, so I was looking for a stall that had like a pack of minis that kind of went together, where I could pick out like a different color for each player. And then I also told myself that I would look for one like special deal item because I love things that are on sale or marked down. And I originally also said that I would look for one merch item, so like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, something like that, and one like fun yarn pick. And the only other thing on my wish list was yarn for a higher quality Harry Potter scarf. That is one of the items I did not end up getting, just because I didn't see any like perfect dark green and silver yarns that stuck out to me. I would be making a Slytherin scarf. So I decided to skip that one and save it for a different yarn store shopping experience. That might be a small business Saturday item that I look for, but we'll see. And I did not end up getting a merch item because I saw the Sheep and Wool t-shirts that they had, and they were cute, but not one that I thought that I would really wear a lot. I really haven't been very into graphic tees lately, so I don't know why I thought that was something that I would want. So I also did not get a merch item, but I did manage to check off everything else on my wish list. So let's start with the drop spindle. This is the drop spindle I purchased. I should have taken a business card from this place, but I forgot to, and now I don't remember what the business was called. It says Snyder on the drop spindle itself, so that might have been the business name, but these were wooden carved drop spindles. They also had some 3D printed ones and a lot of other both wood and 3D printed like yarny accessories or tools, but I picked this one because it has a Celtic knot on the top, and I really liked the wood design, so I got this to try out. I think this was around $25, maybe $26, probably $26 with tax. Really wish I could remember the name of this business. So if you were also at Sheep and Wool and happened to also purchased from them and got a business card, I'd love it if you dropped the name of the business down below. I can't believe that I forgot to grab that one. I think I have tags for everything else that I purchased so I can tell you where it's from, but this one was a very, very cool drop spindle from possibly something with Snyder in the name of the business. I have never used a drop spindle before, so I picked one purely based on the design, not off of any other qualifications, but I plan on learning how to use this at some point soon. This might end up being a winter Vlogmas project for me, just so that I can get through all of my fall stuff that I already had planned. But drop spindle, was very happy to find that. The second thing I want to show you is my deal that I purchased. There was a yarn dyer that had a huge bin of, they weren't reject yarns, but they were things that like were misdyed or didn't have labels, or like something was off about all of them. But they had a really good deal on stuff in that bin. So I picked 2 yarns from that bin, and this is what they look like. They're not quite a slubby yarn. They don't have like bigger puffs on them, but they definitely have a texture to them. It kind of reminds me of Lion Brand Homespun, but much smaller gauge. My tower of things is like falling over here. So I got both of these from that business, and this was from Interlacements, The Art of Fiber and Color, and they're from Oconto, Wisconsin. That is actually not a Wisconsin town I've heard of. But they had some really beautiful yarns, and I really liked this texture. I found it very interesting and still very soft, but to me it like feels more like cotton than wool, and when I say that, it means that like it doesn't like stick to my hands the way that wool does. It feels like kind of smoother even though it has a texture to it. But I picked these 2 colors because to me they were like the same colors, just different tones. Like this is like the dusty pastel version and this is the jewel tone version, but they're both like teal and mauve, magenta, purple colors. So I actually thought I could stripe these together. These did not have color names on them, even though this one has a tag. It doesn't have a color name. Does it have the fiber quality though? It says Rayon Special. Approximately 500 yards. So I'm assuming that these are about the same. I think maybe they were misdyes, but I was really excited about these to combine them into a project together because they were very interesting colors and an interesting texture. And we'll actually come back to this yarn later because there's something else I ended up leaving Sheep and Wool with that was related to this. Then I found a stand that I was really excited about when we did our first slap. I almost stopped right away because I knew I wanted to buy things from them. But it was Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm. Where are they located? I don't think it says on their tags, but they have an adorable little bumblebee as their logo. And they did fandom inspired yarn dyes. So this one that I bought is my D&D minis set that I was looking for, and these are inspired by Lord of the Rings. I don't know which color is which. There are 2 that I'm pretty sure I know which one they are. I'm pretty sure this one is Gandalf the White, and it's a mostly white with pops of blue and gold and brown. Actually more beige than gold, so blues and browns. And then I'm pretty sure this one is Long Bottom Leaf. It's a nice sagey green. I'm decently sure this blue one is the Doors of Durin, just because I would think that one would be blue and like dark colors to show like the moonlight. And then the other 2 are Return of the King and Hallbrand. For some reason I had decided in my head that this one was probably Hallbrand and this one was probably Return of the King, but I actually have no idea. But I'm going to use these to make some dice bags for my D&D group. My D&D group is actually all family members. But that is definitely going to be a Vlogmas project, so check back in December to see how these work up. The other yarn I purchased from Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm was also from their Lord of the Rings collection. I just loved this colorway so much. It's probably going to end up as an infinity scarf, but I'm not sure. This one was called Bag End, and I got this on their Bubble Sock base, which is 80% superwash merino wool and 20% silk, and I really liked the silk edition. But this is the colorway. It's shades of red, burgundy, like harvest gold, brown, green, and teal, maybe with like a little bit of yellow. No, it's a pretty good gold toned. There's a couple spots where it looks almost mauve or like purpley brown, but love this colorway. It's kind of like both very autumnal and Christmassy to me, which are my happy colors. I love those. So I'm very excited to use these in something. Those were all of my actual, like, just straight up purchases from the vendors. Then we went back to the silent auction, and while I didn't end up rebidding on any of the original items I had bid on, I saw that the vendor for this yarn, the interlacement yarn dyer, actually had a bag in the silent auction. So I decided to bid on it. I could see it was 2 skeins of the same yarn, and I got these two together for $24 from their special deals bin. So I kind of just told myself, like, okay, we're not going to go over $20 for this so that it's still a good deal. Ended up getting the bag for $19, which I thought was impressive, right under my goal. And I left with another 2 skeins of that type of yarn. These are different colorways, although they still kind of are in the same like purpley color family. This one's got some lovely pops of yellow and teal. This one is more like purple, mauve, lavender, very purpley tones. And these both had names on them. So this one is called Nebula, and this one is called, I think it was chocolate covered cherries. They also gave me a stitch marker in the bag, and this one's going to be really hard to show because it is transparent, but it is a, let me put it over the tag, maybe that'll be the easiest way to see it. I don't know, we'll just hold it up to the camera, but it is a tiny clear stitch marker with little dogs on it, and I thought it was adorable. So got another 2 skeins. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm glad that they coordinate again so I can maybe use them together, but that was kind of just a surprise last minute auction item. Not a lot of people were bidding on it, I think because it was in like a paper bag so you couldn't immediately see what it was. And the skeins were falling apart inside the bag, so just because this yarn like slips a lot. So I think the fact that the skeins had kind of fallen apart in the bag and the fact that it was in a non-see-through bag worked in my favor because not a lot of people were looking at it. Then, after we finished the silent auction, we like picked up our chairs that we were using to sit and knit with. We had brought them from home, and we moved over to the crochet relay race area. And the Sheep and Wool Festival does a knitting relay race and a crochet relay race. They run the same track, they have the same rules, except one is crochet and one is knit. So there were a total of 7 knitting teams and 5 crochet teams. We were originally supposed to be with 2 other people. Both of them ended up not being able to make it, so me and my friend who I drove with ended up being a team of 2, which meant that we each walked 2 laps. We also ended up being the timers for the knitting portion. And the knitters went first, so we kind of got like a preview of the track, if you will. So the way this relay race worked, you started at one end of like a long, like oval shaped track, I guess it was. It's like a track that went one way and then you turned around and came back. So at the start, you had to weave in and out of cones while knitting or crocheting. Then you had kind of a long straight shot to a bunch of rocking chairs. You had to sit in a rocking chair and stitch and rock for 1 minute. That was where I had to be a timer for the knitters. They needed people standing there with individual timers for each contestant. And then you walked back on the return pass of the path, but you had to stop in front of a sheep. There were sheep spectating this event. and you had to sing one verse of Baa Baa Black Sheep while continuing to stitch in front of the sheep, and then you could continue to the end of the track. So each team was supposed to have 4 people on it. If you didn't have 4 people, someone had to go twice. So when my friend and I did it, we alternated rounds. So she did the first and the third lap, I did the second and the fourth lap. And we ended up coming in second for time, but the way they score this event, you get points for how many stitches you did. They then subtract any mistake stitches, and then they add points based on what time place you got. So we actually ended up coming in first place, which was very, very exciting, considering I had never done it, my friend had done it before. But that meant we got to split the bag of prizes between just the 2 of us, which was very exciting. Also, every team that participated got a bag of prizes, which was awesome. They were all donated by the wonderful vendors. But I was particularly excited about the prize bag because there were only 2 of us. So we went home with twice as much stuff as we would have if we had had our full team. So there were approximately 2 of each item in the bag. Some of them weren't exactly the same, but we just kind of split it up based on what we were interested in. So the first thing I got is this beautiful woven scarf. It's kind of a beige, light brown, and a deep chocolatey brown. This is from Hidden Mountain Farm, and it doesn't say where they are on here, but this is a 100% wool woven scarf, and yeah, it's from Hidden Mountain Arts in Primrose, Wisconsin. There we go. So absolutely beautiful scarf. Very high quality, very durable, gorgeous woven design, very, very geometric looking. So this was very cool. There were 2 scarves in the bag, so my friend took the other one, and I got the brown, which I thought was gorgeous. Then there was this bag of yarn, which does not have a label, so I don't know which vendor it came from, but it appears to be a wool yarn that has a very slubby texture in this ivory off-white color. Oh, it does have a tag. I thought that that was just a number. This is from the Complete Sheep Shop in Belvidere, Illinois. So yeah, it must be 100% wool yarn, but I thought that this was a fun texture to try, so I'm excited to work with this. And then one of the yarns in the bag was actually one I had considered purchasing earlier, so I'm glad I didn't purchase it because I got it anyway. This is from the Sheepwalk Fiber Arts Studio, which is in Bandera, Texas, so they came from quite a ways away. That's interesting. And this is their East Meets West merino yarn with a hint of silk, bamboo, and nylon. And this is in the color Stromness, Stromness. I think that's what that label says. It's handwritten. But it is all of my favorite colors. So sagey greens, teals, deep forest green. We've got some lime green and like light blue in there. Really, really gorgeous colorway. Very excited to use this. And then the last prize that was in there was a crochet kit. So this is from Stitched Naturally. And I can't tell where they're from their tag. That's unfortunate, but yeah, they're called Stitched Naturally. Yeah, no address on there, but it is a crochet kit to make a little windmill, and I thought this was super cute, and I can't wait to test out the kit. It looks like it has everything in it that you would need. Yeah, it has the instructions, the yarn color, and stuffing. So you would just need your hook and your scissors and things like that. But that is my complete haul from the Sheep and Wool Festival. This ended up being a very long portion of the video. But I had a wonderful time at the event. I was so surprised to win the crochet relay race. Highly recommend if you're in Wisconsin. The I think it's usually the second weekend in September. Definitely stop by. I did not think that this was going to be that big of an event. There was definitely a lot more there than I expected. I think next year if I go, I would love to take a class. That was the thing that I kind of missed out on because I didn't decide I was going early enough. The classes definitely fill up very fast. I think I looked a month beforehand and all the classes I was interested in were already full. So if you're interested, definitely sign up for things way in advance because it looks like the spots fill up quickly. But I would also definitely do the crochet and knit relay race again because I had lots of fun and you go home with some great prizes. So that was very exciting. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in following me on other social media, that info will be in the description box below, as well as my friend's Instagram. If you're interested in following her, she does lots of crafty content as well. And if you liked what you saw today, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified of all of my crafty content that I put here on YouTube. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone!
Hello! Hello!